Mac, this was the biggest Bitcoin conference of the year, and this was supposed to be a big splash with regard to President Trump's keynote. Take us through what the feeling was on the ground and whether or not Bitcoin prices can still get more optimism with this ramp up.
So, Dom, in Nashville this weekend, the Republican presidential nominee spoke to a packed auditorium with standing room only about his vision for what a second Trump administration would mean for the crypto industry. Now, the pledge that got the most applause, Trump said that he'll get rid of SEC Chair Gary Gensler, who has taken an aggressive approach to policing the sector. But, Dom, we know the president does not have the power to sack appointed commissioners, and even if Trump were to appoint a new SEC chairman, Gensler would remain a commissioner on the independent agency. Then the big thing, Trump pledged to launch a national Bitcoin stockpile comprised of the roughly 210,000 Bitcoin, or around $14.5 billion worth of BTC the government has already seized in legal actions.
For too long, our government has violated the cardinal rule that every Bitcoiner knows by heart. Never sell your Bitcoin, right? If I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future.
Now, notably, he stopped short of proposing a formal Federal Reserve of the digital currency, but said the stockpile strategy would still cement the token's place as a permanent national asset. But the fact remains, there were a lot of disappointed people in that room, Don, who were hoping for a far more radical pitch on what Trump could do for them from the Oval Office.
So, Mac, this is one of those situations. I mean, you caught up with people on the ground immediately following the remarks from President Trump. How exactly was the speech received by the general audience? Was there excitement? Was there a little bit of a kind of pause? What was the feeling?
Well, it was a letdown, and that's because the day before you had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing that on day one of taking office, he would sign an executive order directing the Treasury to acquire 4 million Bitcoin to have an asset reserve that was on par with the gold standard. So people were expecting Trump to go farther than a stockpile into a Federal Reserve. Now, we did hear from Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis saying that she would bring forth a bill that would propose acquiring 1 million Bitcoin over the next couple of years. But the point is that this has suddenly become this Republican issue where they've really tried to align themselves with this pro-crypto cause.
Okay. We've heard a lot from former President Donald Trump about this. Now that we know who the person will be from the Democratic side of things, and it looks like it will be Vice President Kamala Harris, what do we know about the views from a potential Harris administration when it comes to Bitcoin?
Well, that's what everybody has been waiting to hear. And conference organizers at this event say that they were in talks with the vice president's team to join. Now, there were a handful of lawmakers who were on the ground in Nashville. Most of them were Republicans, but 2 of them were Democrats, and one of them was Representative Ro Khanna. Now, some of his constituents are in Silicon Valley. He's been holding these roundtables with crypto industry experts to really get a sense of what they want to hear. He says that he's been in talks with the VP's team, advising them on crypto policy. He says that they're open. I also sat down with a representative from North Carolina, Wiley Nickel. He says that we can expect to see a major pivot in terms of crypto strategy. We know that there's reporting out there that the Harris team is meeting with industry experts to try to form an opinion of how they could potentially craft a policy to share with the wider public, because people are very keen to hear what she has to say on this. And I will say, Dom, that in Nashville, people were skeptical because she's, been a part of this Biden administration that many people have seen as being aligned to the anti-crypto rhetoric.